jokes. Just joking, would never put it on. Oops. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Alice. We talk about books. We sometimes do some lifestyle and vlog content. So if you're looking for someone to stick on in the background whilst you make yourself a meal, clean your room, or do that thing you've been putting off for the longest time, then I'm your gal. So consider hitting that subscribe button. Come on in. It is free and you can unsubscribe at any time. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. Today we are back with another book review. Woo! So in case you didn't get it by the intro, what we're talking about today, guys, we're back on the Lord of the Rings saga. So we finally finished The Return of the King. Wow, what a journey, guys. I can't believe it. We still have The Hobbit to go, so don't worry, it's not over just yet. Did a little bit higgledy-piggledy. Is that right? We did a little bit back to front, but it's okay because I feel like you kind of need to do it that way, in my opinion. Let's do it. Why not? If you didn't know, I actually have a confession. I haven't read these as such physically, like read this book. Like, I listened to them on Audible. And this video is not sponsored by Audible, although #wish it was, because it's honestly my favourite thing ever. And I've had to pause my membership because, you know, trying to save money and doing all that stuff. And it's really, really sad, but it's okay because I can still listen to The Hobbit, and then I gotta figure it out. Okay, guys, I gotta figure it out. So absolutely wish it was, but it's fine. Honestly, my favourite app since sliced bread, but it's okay. So we literally finished it. Oh, it's just a legend. It's just great, isn't it? We gave it a 10 out of 10. There was nothing I would change about this book, genuinely. I really, really enjoyed it. Even little things I was trying to find, it really felt like I was grasping at straws. I couldn't really find anything that I didn't like about it. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't too fast. Like, everything was happening at the right time and jumping, and it was great. We had a lot more coherence in this one. We did struggle a little bit in the Two Towers. I did say it did kind of just feel like it randomly changed the story because it's like different books within the book, but I liked how they did it in this one. Okay. Also, so a really cool thing about The Return of the King is at the end it actually has some appendices and it gives you more information, you know, about all the other things going on in this world in Middle Earth, and I just really, really like that. I feel like Tolkien, however you say it. I mean, don't need me to approve this. Fantastic writer, best world building ever. Like, it's real. Do you know what I mean? Middle Earth exists. Like, that's how it feels. It is a real place. It's got everything you could ever think of. All of its filing systems and date systems, and oh, it's just so perfect. So let's get into it, all right? Bring on the trusty steed. One day we'll tell you about the dents, but unfortunately today is not that day. You know, we don't want to take away the star of the show. Let's talk about it. So as I did mention, I gave this book a 10 out of 10. I know. Pretty crazy because I normally find something that I don't like, but this was 10 out of 10, which means it was a 5-star. Obviously it had zero spice. It was not a spicy book. Do not go reading The Lord of the Rings to look for spice. That's not where you're gonna find it, all right? And if asked would I recommend this book, I said 1000% yes. Obviously makes sense if you read the other two first, but yeah, phenomenal. Great times. Honestly, I think it's my favorite of the three, so had big hopes for it and it delivered. It delivered. Should we get into the review, guys? Let's just warn this. I feel like there might be some spoilers in here. There's not going to be major spoilers, but I feel like there will be some references here and there. So if you haven't read this book and you are planning on it, then go and do that. Come back and read it, you know, or find something else to watch today and come back when you're at that point. But yeah, it won't be anything major. I don't know. We never know. Don't play the game. Yeah, don't take the risk. Don't take the chance. Alright, we'll just see how it goes. And as always, please read the trigger warnings before reading any book. We want happy and safe readers out here, so if you're going to read these, just make sure they are appropriate for you first and foremost, okay? So I said, I love this book and the ending was amazing in my opinion, honestly. It was just a whole extra, another adventure going on, wasn't it? The amount of extra information and attention to detail in these books is insane. Like, it's actually crazy. It's unmatched. It's unmatched. It's so clever, and there's no moment where you're like, oh, hang on a minute, I'm back in the real world, because that doesn't make sense. Like, never. It's always created within this universe, and wow. Honestly, I loved a lot of the scenes in Mordor. I feel like the descriptions and the way it was all set out was really, really cool. So, you know, good job, because sometimes when it gets to the tense and the hard moments, the writing can crumble a little bit, but no, he did not, and absolutely smashed it out of the park, honestly. I mean, I know this is not a new or original thought, but you know, the last line with Sam where he sort of sat down, took his deep breath and was like, well, I'm back. Oh, it just had such a nice effect that I was like all emotional but teary at the end, and it was so nice. I really, really enjoyed it. Honestly, like I was in the gym like trying not to cry, but teary eyes, yeah, had a few little wet bits. But was super, super nice, and I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It fulfilled everything I wanted from it. It fulfilled everything, so, you know, it has to be 100% score, right? As I said before, the tension writing in here was really good, and the build up to everything was great. You never got to the final climax and was like, oh, that's disappointing, but you never was like, oh, why have we taken so long to get there? It was always perfectly balanced, and honestly, that's some really skillful writing. So everything going on at the same time really worked for me in this book, kind of like jumping between the things. I liked it. I liked that we had the halves of the book in this book, so I'm glad that that choice was made. I think I found it a little bit trickier in The Two Towers, but in The Return of the King I really, really liked it, so it was all good. I will say sometimes some things were over quite quick, but because there was so much going on, if something happened and was over and was quite quick, that meant that it wasn't as important that something was even bigger. That then, do you know what I mean? It all kind of interlocked and intertwined, and I feel like things happened and they were kind of fast paced, but I wasn't mad at it because there was just so much going on that it needed to be like that. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I love that you have the appendices in this book, like learning all about the Numenorean kings and getting all that extra information. Like, it's just so great. Like, that attention to detail is amazing. I mean, how many writers nowadays really kind of get that deep into the worlds and universes, you know? I mean, if you've got books like this, please recommend them down below. I absolutely love this. So, and I'm just so excited that there's quite a few more books I can read in that universe as well. So, but we need to get Mr. Andy Serkis on a few more of them, okay? Thank you Audible, thank you. Obviously, again, not sponsored, but I feel like the appendices, they also back up the world building. They make it more realistic and feel more like this real place, because they kind of go, oh, there's all this history and this and this and this and this, and then it does generally make you be like, oh, well, yeah, then sure, it must be a thing, you know, and it really gets into it. So I really like that attention to detail. I feel like you learn a lot in this book, and you know, you really get into it, and the descriptions are so great. You know, I love Miss Donna Tartt for her descriptions in The Secret History, and whilst they're so beautiful and almost too perfect but in the best way, I feel like the descriptions in these books were also really cool, and I really liked them, and they create great imagery. I always knew what was going on and what to kind of picture in my head, and I really liked that as well. Honestly, I can't find a bloody bad word about it. I like, this is proof, guys, I don't actively look for bad words to say about something. If I haven't got a bad word to say about it, I won't say it, because this book doesn't. And I don't wish that it does. I love that this is, for me, what I'd consider maybe one of my perfect reads. Good with me, guys. I do definitely feel like this has been some of the best world building. He's pretty unmatched so far in my repertoire for reading. I mean, I obviously love Harry Potter, and I will say the world building in that is phenomenal, but I would put that on the same level. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're together on the same level, but I'm just talking about in things I generally read. It's not too much, although I will say the Maze Runner world building, I'm quite enjoying that so far. So, and Fourth Wing as well, so you know, we might have a few more to add to the old repertoire of world builders. I would really recommend reading these if you haven't read them. I know this is a very popular book, so you probably have, but you know, or you might have heard of them or watched the film, but I would really recommend it. There's some great things in there, and I would even more recommend listening, again, not sponsored, but listening to the audiobooks on Audible, narrated by Andy Serkis. One of the best things ever. Thank you, Brian, for telling me to do this. My boyfriend started listening to it, and then I overtook him very soon, and I think he's still on the fellowship, so boo. But honestly, like, best thing ever. Best thing ever. I love it so much. I feel like Andy Serkis, he just makes the world feel even more real, and he brings all the characters into it, and he creates the personalities for them, and I just love it. I always want more from a book, you know, after it's done. I've got questions, but I feel like this book ended so nicely, and I feel like I was pretty satisfied. And also I think because I know there's lots of other books in the repertoire, I know there's not loads, but there's quite a few in that universe, so I feel like it doesn't feel over yet, so I quite enjoy that element of it as well. I just feel like everything was perfectly drawn together, tied up, wrapped with a lovely little bow at the end, and it was just great. Can't fault it. And fantastic. It was fantastic. That's all I got to say about it, guys. So go read it. Go read The Lord of the Rings, okay? You have been politely asked, and I hope that you do. I hope that you give it a go. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll have some more reviews coming soon, because we've kind of started finishing everything at the same time. I'm definitely going to start The Hobbit ASAP, so, you know, look out for that. But oh, guys, what am I gonna do after The Hobbit? What am I gonna listen to while I'm working out? I'm gonna have to go back to bloody music, unless I can start my Audible again. We'll see. But any recommendations for audiobooks, I would appreciate. But I'm really tempted to audiobook Harry Potter, because it's narrated by Stephen Fry, right? And I just feel like that would be kind of good. So let me know. What do you think? What do you think? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Have you subscribed? Thank you very much. And as always, until the next one, I'll see you then. Bye. I've still got this spot on my nose. Well, it's like a scab. How rude. How rude.